Hello students, in this video we will talk about craft. Is it interesting? How many of you know what is the meaning of craft? I think everybody will definitely say that we are well acquainted with the term craft. What is specific in this lecture? The specificity of this lecture is that this craft will talk in the context of religion. So, this is the relevance, this is the importance and significance of this particular lecture. Here we will talk about craft which deals with religious specialist in the sociology of religion. Generally, when we talk about craft, craft is a job or activity for which you need skill with your hands. This is the reason that the term handicrafts is very popular among all of us. And in the early classes of our formal education, we have the classes of the art classes, SUPW classes, where we perform these activities with our hands. We use paper, we use clothes to make the work done in a specific manner. But the relevance of sociology of religion is this, that here religious practices, religious activities are not so easily get performed by every individual. There are certain do's and don'ts, regulations, rules which are important, needed to be keep in mind while performing any religious activity. Whether it is the performance of yajna, any ceremony, definitely a code of conduct is there. And somehow in the social settings we are aware about those do's and don'ts, but that is superficial. Everybody, every person in the social system is definitely have a brief idea about the do's and don'ts and conducts of their religion, of the religious setting of the environment of the society, but there is the requirement of specialists who perform the task with very sincerity and in a very appropriate manner. So, there rises the concept of specialist. Now, as I have talked to you earlier, that religion is also a matter of personal experience. At the same time, Durkheim very popularly said that religion is having the concept of sociability and a sort of group associated to this element of religion. Therefore, it is also a social phenomena. In both these concepts, in both these aspects, certain activities are related to every religious aspect and the ceremonies associated in every religion. For the performance of these activities, certain specialists are required, and with the passage of time in society also and in sociology also, due importance are given to them. In this video particularly, we will talk about priest, prophet and shaman, as these are very commonly seen in each and every society. So, let us start the video, the lecture about the craft, that is religious specialist. All human societies include individuals who guide and supplement the religious practices of others. Such individuals are seen to be highly skilled at contacting and influencing supernatural beings and manipulating supernatural forces. The common example of our day to day life, in earlier times also, people used to have a feeling of fear when they were not having so much scientific orientation towards the natural phenomena of life, whether it is thundering, lightning, they were having the feeling of fear towards that natural power, and that fear motivated people towards the feeling of respect, towards the feeling of respect towards that supernatural power. But with the passage of time, people realize the meaning of science, scientific processes, religion, magic, and this demarcation gradually gives understanding to the people that certain activities are there which are in the control of men, but still there are many activities which are beyond the control of human being. And now, as a scientific oriented person, people get attached towards science and they feel that everything is in the control of science. But most of the time there are certain phenomena in our life also and in social life also, in natural life also, that we are not able to hold control over many phenomena. As a result, they believe that there must be some person who knows how to deal, how to control, how to manifest, how to manipulate that supernatural power. And here arises the importance, the significance, the role of religious specialists. These are seen as highly skilled at contacting and influencing supernatural being and manipulating them. They may have undergone special training and may display certain distinctive personality traits that make them particularly well suited to perform these tasks. As every specialized require to have some specific training, so this should be there and this is there in the process of religion also. So, the process of giving training definitely varies in various religion. This is the reason that the specialist in every religion is known by different names. But the crux of the thing is this, that every specialist of all the religions, either one way or the other, try to make provide to help the people in the society in a positive manner and try to give control to the mindset of the people, that how the supernatural power can prove helpful in making the things done in their life. Although sometimes the different aspect or the different side of the coin is also seen in the society. But if we talk about a present context and in a positive way, then the significance and role of these specialists varies from society to society and is related to an extent that the nature of these religious system in the particular society, where there is dominance of the people of a particular religion belonging, then they have their feeling of respect towards that specialist of that religion. Because in the process of life, from cradle to grave, for one thing or the other, people move towards supernatural power. With the performance of their activities in the day to day life, with the scientific orientation in the mind, with the way of proceeding in the life, in the fulfilling one or the other activity, there are certain moments in the life that a person get not able to make the things done in a proper manner as they want, and as a result the mindset started moving towards different aspect of life. The function of these specialists are usually meant for achieving positive ends and benevolence. That what I said earlier, that the positive aspect of these religious specialists is to provide help to the people in achieving their goals or target, whether it is related to the material life or to the non-material life, but often they may even be aimed at inflicting harm. So, religious specialists are said as those persons who, because of certain charismatic qualities they possess, are accorded the status of being intermediaries of mediators between the world of the human and that of the divine or magical. This is the reason that in anthropology and in sociology, specific importance is given to the process of magic also, because magic, religion and science, the collaboration of these three in the life of a person can be very easily seen. So, when a person is having certain charismatic qualities which they possess, which are not available to every common man in the society, and because of that charismatic qualities they are said that they are the mediators, where they can have their relation with the worldly activities and with the supernatural power, and while making this communication they started holding their status in the society. This act of mediation may either be performed by a single individual or a group of individuals, where each performs a separate task. Such performance may occur on special ritual occasions as a matter of daily routine or during illness. As if we go back to the ancient period, and I think it would not be inappropriate to say and discuss that at the stage of the life of early men, while rubbing of stone was said once upon a time as a story, that there is the discovery of wheel and invention of fire was there. That was something new for the people, for the citizen, for an individual. But at that time that was so new. Right now in this era where we are in the digital space, where we are leading the life of artificial intelligence, these things are not having that much importance in our lives. But still at that time also and at the present scenario also, the thing which is commonly available still with all of us, that is the feeling of some existence of respect of supernatural power in the society. Either one way or the other, people have the acceptance that there is some power which is beyond the control of humans, and that power holds some role in the life of individual. In the specific religions of the world, specifically if we talk about Hinduism, the concept of Pap and Punya is there. Now, what is the treatment of this Pap and Punya? What is this concept of Pap and Punya? Durkheim said about sacred and profane, and each and every religion talks in their own manner about heaven and hell. Whatsoever be the reason, the underlying factor is that there must be code of conduct in society. Individual must lead that disciplined life that prove helpful not only in the growth of individual himself, but also for other people also. And this help can be provided to others and to oneself when a person follow a definite code of conduct and disciplined life in their own periphery. And for this there are certain doctrines, rites, rituals which are transmitted from one generation to another by various religious practices, and these religious specialists are said that they are responsible for propagation of these practices, for giving help to the people and making this system going on continuously in the society. And that is different from magic, because there is always a line of demarcation between religion and magic. So, these are quite different from the day to day life, but still in our life whenever a person is severely ill, or a certain task are there which a man is not able to make it done either by one way or by the other, they move for help, for the craft in the religious aspect by the religious specialist. There are different kind of specialists who derive their powers from the functions they perform, the doctrine they follow to, and by the nature of their followers. Yes, this is again an important feature to keep in mind, that the people started following, and with the presence of the followers, with the acceptance of the followers, if the task get completed, if the assigned job get done, then definitely people propagate it from one family to another, from one society to another, and in this way there are various religious specialists which we commonly see in our society even in the present scenario. So, certain elements of religion are essentially to discuss here, because early anthropologists such as Fraser, Durkheim, Malinowski did not specifically identify religious specialists as a distinct phenomena for theoretical discussion. Yes, because at that time where sociology and anthropology was evolving in that period, generally it was a mindset or a concept was there that this is the one power which is working at both the sides. This is the reason that early anthropologists did not consider them as different. They considered the specialist as a part of the religious system, which according to them is a distinct social phenomena. Means they treat it as a vast social religious system, and in that religious system this is a role play by a particular person. But it was Max Weber who turned the things in a very different manner. Before talking about Max Weber, I would like to give you a definition of sociology of religion about religious specialist, because according to sociology of religion, a religious specialist is one who devotes himself to a religious system. A very common definition, which is even easily expressed by the meaning of this term, religious specialist. A religious specialist is one who devotes himself to a religious system. In societies where such powers is considered as impersonal, anthropologist has described it as magic, and the specialist who manipulates the power as a magician. And where power is personalized as deities, gods, spirits or demons, the life anthropologists talk of religion. In reality, there is no demarcation easily was available between religion and magic. Now, let us move to Max Weber's contribution, because it was Max Weber who provided the necessary breakthrough. He wrote extensively on religion, its social consequences and the nature of religious functionaries. His comparative study of world religions, which focused on the theory of religious ideas, brought focus directly on religious specialists as agents of social transformation or as conservation of traditions. There are two important underlying features which is very essential to keep in mind, that for a specialist the role is of an agent of social transformation, and second is the conservation of tradition, because in every society the cultural pattern which people follow have certain traditions, and these traditions with the passage of time definitely gets changed, but still this conservation of tradition prove helpful in the continuity of the society. So, this is the role which is played by the religious specialist in conservation of traditions. Similarly, it was religious specialist, earlier time even it was accepted, and right now also it is very commonly seen that they act as agent of social transformation, where people are given space because of them to work for the change in society. Weber was very clear in the concept of religion. He believed that the behavior of individual in a society is motivated by religious and magical factors, and he discussed in the work the plurality of gods and their potential. He also traces out the development of monotheistic religions such as Islam and Judaism, and polytheistic religions such as Hinduism. In an attempt to classify religious experience and specialists, he points out how men relate to supernatural force through prayer, sacrifice and worship, and these are the real eternal elements of religion, which in one way or the other can be seen all over the world. This is prayer, second is sacrifice, and third is worship. Although the pattern of either prayer or sacrifice or worship varies in all the religions, but still Weber very clearly said that in all the religion the presence of prayer, sacrifice and worship make religion very important in all the societies. They are helped along here with the mediators such as priest. Often charms and spells are used when prayer does not work. In such cases, they turn to magicians. One can say that religious specialists relate to the divine through rituals and religious activity, while they relate to the evil through magical activity. This was the concept of Weber on religion and magic. There are some societies where both functions are performed by the same religious specialist, means one religious specialist work for the betterment of the society for an individual, and at the same time that person, that specialist performs certain activities for the harm of the society and even for the person. Now, in this lecture we will talk about priest, prophet and shamans. First we talk about priest, because according to Weber, the priest is one who perform mediatory functions directed towards the world of supernatural and divine. The priest belonged to an organization or related to an institution. He may even be attached to a family which undergoes indoctrination and organizational learning. Means from generation to generation certain training is given to the family member that they follow the same traditions of priesthood. He is also expected in performing certain periodic rituals and sacrifices for the wellness of society by worshipping of the divine gods and goddesses. Even priests are related to the royal life also. In most societies, an important relationship existed between the priestly class and the royal class. There are many such examples in history where the king was also a priest, like Polynesian tribes of Melanesia and also even in India, where due to ancestor worship, the king or the head of the family is required to perform the duties of a priest. There are also many examples where the king was considered equal to divine power. It was considered to contain the life and basic elements of its caste. There are many such examples of close relationship between priestly class and the royal class in history, where both were dependent on each other. The sacred role of the priest in many societies. Under this, the rights to the rule of king were given to him. The church had an important role in connection with the coronation, and in India the coronation ceremony was performed by Brahmin priest. Means from the beginning, again from the cradle to grave, throughout their life, the life and the role of priest cannot be ignored in the society. Certain specific qualification of priest I want to discuss here. The first is the primary function of the priest is to mediate between the humans and the divine. Second, the priesthood is generally a hereditary institution, means from father to the next generation that get transmitted, certain training is given in the family. Communication with the priestly divine power through prayer, worship and rituals is done, and in this way this training give priest the importance in all the aspects and all the spheres of society and life. There is a certain self study essentially required in priesthood, because in the many phases of life when people approach to the priest, it is essentially known to the priest what has to be done, what practices has to be performed in order to get this aim achieved and get this activity fulfilled. The priest held his position in the knowledge of natural phenomena and elements and maintained by form. A certain circle of mystery remains around them. This is again a qualification of priest, and because of this, when people have a blind faith, problem raises. No doubt problems are there, certain situations are there where people feel low, they do not get the right direction to move. The required condition by everybody is that they do not have blind faith. You move to the person, you ask for the help, but still keep your eyes open rather than going for the blind faith following that can create any sort of problem in the life rather than making or providing solution of that problem. Therefore, a certain cycle of mystery is always present around priest, and for that individual who need help of the priest required to pay attention. He is expected to observe certain restrictions in his personal life, especially regarding to their habits of food, language and bodily comforts, because for that they require to pay attention, self motivation, self control imbibed in them, by which they give example to help to other people. In this way, Weber gave due importance to priest. He also talked about magicians. Weber understands the magician as a specialist who uses his knowledge of the supernatural miracle making and exorcism to carry out rituals and acts that are both beneficial and harmful. He deals with the evil spirits and tries to overcome illness through his magical powers. And this is the difference between the magician and the priest. In this context, the role of shaman was also highlighted by Max Weber. He said that shaman is a tribal magician and leader. He is known for his power of exorcism, and similar to those of the magician, he performs both positive rituals of well-being and negative rituals of well-being. For priests, it was said that males are mainly associated with priesthood, but for shaman, the role of female was also highlighted by Max Weber. Next is the concept of prophet. According to Weber, the prophet is a person who by virtue of his charismatic personality and qualities is capable of being a leader and gaining a following. The prophet leads a mission not for economic reasons, but as he sets it as personal calling or as a divine mission. The prophet may either lead a mission or he may be the founder of a world religion. To put it simply, the prophet is seen as a messenger or instrument of God's will. So, now the point to conclude is this, that there is difference between priest and prophet also. The difference between the priest and prophet is that while the priest is a religious specialist who is attached to an organization and perform rituals on behalf of others, the prophet is an independent person. He performs no rituals on behalf of people as such and is not a member of any organization, whether there are others like him, although he may lead one. Secondly, while the priest inherits his authority by birth in a family or thorough indoctrination or specialized knowledge, the prophet's authority comes from his personal charisma. So, whether it is priest, whether prophet or whether shaman, Weber very clearly, and it is the experience of common man even in the society, that everybody move to get the solution of their problem to the supernatural power. In the sense of religion, they get the sense of feeling of comfort and satisfaction, and either they move to the way of magician. But whether this way or the other, they require to follow certain code of conduct for the benevolence in the society and in their life, for the satisfaction and completions of their desired wills, the way guided to them by these religious specialists give a sort of craft to the fulfillment of the life of an individual.